Yeah. You gotta work. You gotta work, grind, shine, it's mine. Gotta show everybody it's my time. Getting here, you gotta work, grind, shine. Never mind who talking down, cause they
Welcome to
lying.
Let's Talk with Carl Lee and frequent guest hosts Hollis Lewis and Lisa Odie, where sports, culture, and community intersect. Join the crew as they dive into engaging conversations with guests from all walks of the sports life. Let's Talk is proudly presented by attorney Frank Walker. Real talk, real experience, real results. Let the conversation begin on Let's Talk.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Carl Lee with Let's Talk, and I have in the building, I have Hollis Lewis here.
What's up?
And I have another. I'm not going to say he's a guest. I'm going to say
We in his house.
Yeah, we in his house.
Yeah.
And today I think we're going to have a very, very interesting conversation, and I'm going to let him introduce himself and jump right into the story, and we'll go from there.
Well, hi, I'm Woody. I mean, how y'all doing?
They know Woody.
Y'all missing a person, right?
Yeah, we missed Lisa.
Lisa's
Oh,
not
Lisa?
here.
Where's-
Yeah,
what-
she
she's
wasn't
on
able to make it
vacation.
today.
That's
yeah,
why I
she was on
came.
vacation.
I just came for Lisa. Golly.
So you ain't come for us?
No way. No way.
I thought we were better than that.
I love you.
So
Go, Hollis. Go ahead,
We're
Dylan.
here to talk about the Capitol High basketball situation. So if you don't know, Capitol High was 17-4, ending the regular season. They were a perennial number 1, number 2 team in AAA ball. Again, they were quad A last year. They moved to AAA this year or whatever. It's so confusing now. So they entered a regional sectional tournament. I think, is it regional?
Regional.
Okay, so
There's
regional
no more
tournament.
sectionals.
Yeah, no more sectionals. So they entered a regional tournament. Again, this is the number 1, number 2 team in the nation. In the state, and somehow they get ranked 6th. So the coaches from a couple of the schools in that particular conference, they vote on the rankings as far as going into the regional. So a Capitol High, which was 17-4, they're supposed to go off your overall record and accomplishment, not necessarily conference records, get it voted 6th. They go to Greenbrier East, travel 2 hours, and unfortunately lost. So that's the backstory. So go ahead, Woody.
First of all, I want to shout out to the kids, the ballers at Greenbrier East. They have nothing to do with this. It's just a flawed system. And when I say that, coaches should never be able to vote on seeding. If we can do this, all right, what if we do this in football? Me, Carl, you the coach at South Charleston. I'm at Capitol. Hollis, you at GW. And we need one more coach to make sure Martinsburg go on the road every time. And we just vote that. We just vote it. Like, we can vote for that. Me, you, and you can change the seedings of the body of work. I think it should be looked at as the body of work. So now you're going to say, well, they didn't play any regional games. The schedule was put out before they did this new region setup thing.
And remember, they were going from 4A to 3A,
Yes.
so that's what it got messed up at.
Yes.
And let me. I'm going to say this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. At some point, this is an issue that isn't really like me on the outside. I got nothing in this, right? This is all about a particular positions, coaches. Somebody has done this. We're thinking about this as something wrong.
Yeah, 4 coaches did it. They voted them last. Like, how can you vote a team that got 17 wins under a team that got 3? I don't care if they play bitty league basketball. I don't care. How is that even right? You're going to say because they didn't play a team in the region, but they played South Charleston twice. They played Parkersburg South. They beat Bridgeport at home.
Defending champs,
they
too.
played GW. They played Chapmanville. They played Riverside. They played 2 teams out in Ohio, like 6-8 teams. It's a flawed system, and they got exposed.
Yeah. And let's be clear, like, this wasn't, like, when we're saying those 4 coaches were colluding, this isn't our conjecture. This isn't something like we're guessing. They told
They
you
said, yeah.
in the media, like, yeah, we did this. They didn't try to hide their hand, and that's what makes it even more egregious.
Well, why? Do we have a why? Like, is there like
the why the excuse they gave is because Capitol didn't play enough regional games or conference games.
It's regional. They play the conference. Yeah, you're good.
Regional. Yeah. I'm getting this all confusing.
Yeah.
But what's the record?
Capital 17-4.
How many people are better? How many people's record is better than that?
But that's kind of that's not really the issue. The issue is that, again, they got what they wanted. They sent Capital on the road, and Capital lost. They didn't want to have to play at Capital.
And let's be honest, Carl. Greenbrier East is not an easy place to play. The gym is small. Their fans is spectacular. Like, I can't knock that. Their fans is
I know Greenbrier. I know Greenbrier East. Yeah, I know.
You got the Senators there.
Yeah.
It's his court. He got a big chair, and it's just a hard place to play. And I heard from a administrator at Capitol that our cheerleaders and our mascot didn't even have no room to do what they did. Now we can put this in Capitol at Capitol, which where it's supposed to be. They shouldn't even played each other, first of all, because they shouldn't have played each other. Capitol should have played a WAC team, but if you
because of their ranking,
but if you're trying to get a good team out, put them on the road against another good team that's a hostile environment. We ain't gonna talk about the fouls 30-8. I can't make it up, but I ain't gonna bring that up. We ain't gonna talk about that, but it's a hostile environment. You got to travel 2.5 hours. If home court and home field don't have an advantage, it wouldn't be a word. You wouldn't have, say, home court advantage or home field advantage. We know it's advantage. Both of you guys play sports. Mm-hmm. The kids got to get up early. They got to go to Greenbrier. They got to go to school that day. If we at home, I think it's a different story. I promise you.
I think it goes back, and again, within this, the WVSSAC, they actually sent recommendations to them to what they thought should be, the rankings. And again, just going back to like the premise of the conversation, in that circumstances, you never need to have coaches voting. Unfortunately, I think you have to take the human element out of it and strictly go to a metrics, or you have to have a third party, a non-interested, a non-affiliated party that actually is going to set the rankings. I mean, the easiest thing is just to have the metrics. You go by record first, you go by head-to-head matchups, and then you go by the teams you won and lost against.
Well, why are we not in that space? Why are we not in that space?
I don't know why they do it like this for regional setups. I have no idea. It's a very, very flawed system.
I think you need to bring somebody on the show that's smarter than me and ask them why, girl. That's the question, why? And how? How are we letting coaches vote on seating? That blows your mind.
I mean, it's going to be hard. I'd be hard-pressed to think that, like, if I got to vote, I may have played Charleston. I may have seen, or Capital. I may have seen them, right? And maybe I'm thinking to myself, I don't really want them in the first
bingo.
but I think the issue is, like, what message is that sending to kids? Like, if I'm a coach and I know my team's not very good, I'm going to rank myself accordingly. I'm not going to try to, like, buck the system. Like, we are the record that we are, and we're going to get ranked how we supposed to go. And if we win, we win. If we lose, we lose. But it's not like you can't look back and say,
what I'll say to that, as bad as this may sound, some of this ain't about the kids.
There you go.
I mean, it ain't.
Some of this just ain't about the kids. It's about me. I'm the coach,
right?
And I want to win at all costs. And if I can get you where it works better for me, why wouldn't I do it?
Nah, I don't think you do that.
I don't see me do. I don't see me.
I'm gonna be honest. I will.
I won't.
You're a better guy than me.
Yeah.
If I can make this thing look like the way I want to look, I'm gonna say, oh yeah, bro, y'all 7. That's why it shouldn't be there. It shouldn't be there. How can you vote a team higher than a team won 3 games and a team won 17? That it shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Because I'm voting Martinsburg last every time if it was football, Carl.
Exactly. I mean, that would be the best plan. That'll keep them. That'll make them have to
go on the road,
but
play a few more games.
But why would you want to taint it? Like, even if you won the regional championships or you made it to the tournament or whatever, why would you want? I just wouldn't want it tainted to that degree. And I'm just saying, as an adult, you got 4 coaches that's doing that. That's crazy to me. And again, shout out to Ripley. Shout out to I forget the other schools, but it was other schools that actually voted accordingly, and they voted right. So shout out to those schools. Hoover, Ripley. I know those two for sure. I'm just saying, like, if I'm in that position and I'm a coach, of course we want to win, but I'm not willing to like go that far with it. I just think that's just greasy.
And I don't necessarily know who the 4 teams are. I don't know who the coaches are on that team. But I'm inviting you to the show. Call in or whatever. At some point in time, you are welcome to come on the show to discuss this, to defend yourself, because for me as an athlete, I want the smoke.
I want it.
I want it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, I want my kids to have the smoke.
Yeah.
And if you win, great. If you don't, hey, who did you face? You faced the smoke. And we expected that to happen.
Yeah.
You can't duck it. And if you're ducking it, you're doing a disservice for your kid, and probably you doing it for yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
you know what I'm saying? You're doing that because you want to be a notable coach who's won a championship or whatever, and keep moving up the ranks in some form or fashion.
But here's the thing, guys. Next year, whoever wins that region, we gonna forget about this. They got the regional championship. They cutting down the nets.
Right.
We could talk about it now because it's hot. But next year, when they the regional champs, they the one going to the Civic Center, and they not asking how they got there.
Nobody's gonna care.
I think we live in a social media age. They gonna remember how you got there.
But they ain't tripping on it. They still getting the shirts and say I made it to state.
No, because you gonna have just like South Charleston when we won the state championship during COVID. Y'all like to bring it up.
No, you ain't get that.
Again, so nobody forgot. So if one of those teams end up making it and winning, it's going to be a big asterisk, and you're not going to live it down.
No, a little different.
It's a little different, but you still
South Charleston, y'all played 4 games that year. You can't
Play
say
6.
or 6. You didn't play
we was the best
top
team.
dogs.
Yeah, we was the best.
Y'all
team
was pretty
second.
good. Y'all wasn't beating Martinsburg.
Yeah, we was beating Martinsburg that year.
Man, are you crazy?
That year we was loaded.
Y'all was pretty good, but y'all didn't play anybody.
We had like 10 guys that went D1 that year.
I can bring up y'all schedule.
But to you all's debate, see, I think that's the debate that a lot of folks will want to have about this situation to try to nullify it. And how do you get past that?
Point system, like Hollis said.
I think it's a point system.
It got to be a metric.
Yeah.
It got to be a metric.
It's a straight up metric. It's record, it's head to head matchup, and you get a certain allocation of points for teams that you beat, teams that you lost to, different things of that nature.
Because guess what? I'm sorry.
No, I was going to ask the question, like, what should because again, the WVSSAC, shout out to them, they did send the recommendation on what they thought should happen in that regional setup. So do you think they just need to have the authority to say, okay, this is the ranking? Or final say, let's say.
I think they have to. I think they can't sit on the sideline and not do something. They got to be aggressive and step out, say something, do something, because you can't let this go. You can't let this go and think and it be okay.
Do those 4 go ahead? I'm
about to tell you the teams who voted Capital 7th. That's last because they can't vote for themselves, right? There's 8 teams there. Greenbrier East voted them 7th. Pikeview voted them 7th. Princeton voted them 7th, and Shady Springs voted them 7th.
So should those schools face some sort of penalty for that?
I think so, because here comes the rabbit hole. And I know Cookie wouldn't do it, but if you go low, I'm going to hell. Next year, I'm voting the best team 7th. I don't care who it is. Now I'm all right. Okay, I see how y'all playing, and I'm gonna get some partners in the region to vote at 7 too. Now it just becomes a rabbit hole when it's not fair. Because now I'm gonna do the same thing you did to me. If it's a better team and I'm the head coach and I get a vote, right? I'm voting them 7th.
Because I just don't understand collusion in any sort of business. We see it in sports. We see coaches in the NFL, college, we seen them get fined. We seen them get suspended. We seen administrators get suspended and fined when you have collusion. We seen owners of NFL, NBA teams get fined when there's evidence of collusion. So this is clear evidence of collusion. Something has to happen from that.
Do you think they think that they got away with it?
No. He came out, the Shady Springs coach, and I hope I'm messing up. He came out and said, "Oh, I'm voting Capital last. They ain't played no regional games and this and that."
But he's just. But he that's not coming out. That's not coming out.
Okay.
That's justifying.
I got you.
He came and justified it.
No, he said this before though.
Okay.
Before.
But my thing is, if I'm sitting back and I'm hearing this conversation, I could make the case. You know what? They're right. I was wrong. I made a mistake.
I don't think they're gonna say that.
And here's the thing: if we know, if people are listening and they say that that's wrong, what they did was wrong, it don't really matter what they think. They're wrong. The general public is going to look at this and think that it's wrong.
But to this point, it seems like they have got away with it. Capital had to go to Greenbrier East and lost. So they got what they were. So the result that they were fishing for, they got.
They got it.
You know what I mean? And like I said, to this point, I guess my question would be like, if there is going to be some sort of penalty after the fact, who is going to implement that penalty? Should it be the WVSSAC? Should it be the conference that they're in? Should it be the regional? Like, somebody to me has to do something, because you cannot collude at anything. Even if insider trading, Martha Stewart went to prison for a year for somebody telling her colluding to tell her some information. You cannot do this on any level, and I just don't know how you're so brazen enough to just, hey, yeah, we did it, and that's it, and nothing's gonna happen. It has to be something.
I agree. So what you think their justification going to say? Because they didn't play any regional games?
I mean, they already stated the justification, which, again, that doesn't even matter, because from what and this is coming from Principal Anderson in Capitol High, that above anything and all things, your record is what stands.
Your body of work.
Yeah,
yes.
Your body of work.
Yes.
And because of the flip-flopping of all the changing of the rankings and the classifications, your schedule's already set. So I can't change my schedule in the middle of the season to accommodate you. I can maybe add a game or two, but I can't change my schedule because it's already set. You know how the schedules go. It'd be a year, 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 years in advance.
And you can't say Capital don't play in the hardest conference in the state. The MSSAC, what is it called? What is that?
Yeah,
the MSSAC? That's the hardest conference in the state. There's not a better conference than GW and South Charleston and Capital and Riverside, and it's sad because we let adults mess up things again.
Yeah.
When are we gonna stop talking about adults messing up?
And it's sports.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's sports, man, and it's a shame, because if sports does what people have always said that it will do for young men and young women, it will help them, it will teach them discipline, all of those kinds of things, all those positive things. And you, as a coach, you as an administrator, you as a fan, you as a dad, all of those positions, when you start to do something negative, you interrupt the growth of those young men and those young women who are trying to learn structure.
Man, I just think you let them off the hook, man. Go to Capital, win or lose. You're going to be stronger for it. You can't try to hide kids from adversity. You know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead and throw them in that fire. They'll be all right. You'll take that L. It's cool. And just speaking of that, and again, I know, man, y'all ain't trying to go here, but it's the same thing that happens. I'm looking at, like, the Little League football situations around here. It's the same thing, just not letting certain teams in leagues and stuff like that. It's just, man, I don't know. I'm just for, like, taking the human element out of all of it at this point.
How do we get it out of the hands of individuals? Like, let's go to youth sports. All that youth sports needs would be bylaws and who plays who to set a schedule each year. So if there was somebody who was in charge of that organization, not a board member of a team or president of a team, somebody that's individual by themselves make this decision. Let's just say like a Hollis Lewis.
I don't want that.
You know,
No, bro, I was gonna say you.
Woody Wood.
I was gonna say Carl Lee.
No, Woody Wood.
He's
So
talking
now-
to himself right now.
But I think to your point, you need a board. You have to have a third. In any of these situations, you need a third party, non-interested, non-affiliated entity, whether that's a board, whether that's a group of individuals to make these decisions. That's going to be held accountable. That's going to have their record reflected in the public. Because here's the thing. It's a reason why, again, we can go down a number of rabbit holes probably, but it's a reason why we're not producing no more Randy Mosses, no more Carl Lees, no more Kurt Warners, no more Jason Williams, because we are ducking the smoke at every level. Think about that. It's a reason why we don't have those guys no more. We used to have a consistent group of guys who were not just good for the state, but also like nationally elite athletes. Again, population decline, it's a lot of factors into it, but you have to throw that we're ducking smoke. We're seeing it at the little league levels. We're seeing it at the high school levels where we're not pushing our kids to compete against the best. Randy Moss and them, as great as those teams were, they didn't win the championship every year.
Nope.
J.R. House, they didn't win those championships every single year. Quincy Wilson, they didn't win championships every single year because they faced the stiffest, toughest competition and wasn't no smoke ducked. And that's the problem. When you start to set up your kids at a situation where you don't put them in adverse situations, particularly when it comes to sports, you're not making them play against the best. It hurts them. It don't hurt you. Your days is over.
And to your point, and I've probably have said this before. When Kurt Warner was at Pineville, and I think they were AA or whatever.
Single A.
And, everybody's hearing about him. So he gets selected, he won all the awards, and he was going to be at the North-South. He was getting the Best Back in the Nation award, so he was coming in a couple days late for the North-South game. So me and my buddy Eddie Ray Dice, we were like, man, let's go meet him and see what he's like. We wanted to size him up. Mm-hmm. Bro, I'm looking at him and I'm like, well, he ain't all that big. He ain't all that. Bro, he put his uniform on. And bro, the first time he took off in the backfield, I don't think I had ever in my life at that point in time had ever seen anybody like that. What that did for me was to understand there's still another level. You in the North-South game, but Kurt Warner, no wonder he was going to Penn State.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to Marshall. Marshall ain't winning no games, and the Penn State winning national championship. There was a clear difference between that. And I think kids need to see that.
You gotta see
You can't run from that because if you run from it, you will never get to even see it probably because you're not going to be in an all-star game. You're not going to be at a school that's going to be like that.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
So what you guys saying, and we see this a lot, all the superstars are teaming up together and not playing against each other, and that's hurting. It's hurting our state pretty much.
Yeah. And speaking of that, we can go into the transfer. I know there's a lot of controversy about the House Bill 44. I think it's 4425. And let me just explain what it is and what it isn't. So basically, it repeals legislative authority over the transfer rule of high school sports. So it passed the House, and basically it just gets us out the way as far as the legislative body. Now it's going to the Senate, and if it passes the Senate, there's no conflicts, then it'll go to the governor to be signed. So if it is signed into law, basically all it will do, it will pit the authority back with the WVSSAC. So they could keep the rule as it is, they could go back to the previous rule, or they can make up a whole new rule. Now, the WVSSAC is the enforcement mechanism. they enforce the rules of high school sports. Generally, when it comes to something like that, from what I understand, administrators at the various high schools, they will vote on the rule. So if you want to see the rule reflected a certain way, you need to get with your high school principals and the ADs and coaches and all that, and you need to express those feelings about how you want to see the rule implemented and played out.
I'm glad you said that just the way that you said it, because that's actually perfect for me to say. If I'm a coach, I want the smoke. Like I want to represent my community. I don't want the best player out of Charleston. I don't want the best player out of Hurricane. I don't want the best player out of South Hills. I don't want that. I want my kids in my community, and let's go to work. And I just and for you to I spent 4 years at Marshall losing. 4 years with never a winning season. If you know anything about me and my career, what does that matter?
But
all that matters is what you do.
But I'll give the other side of that, because there is a other side of it. When you have a school like GW, we got one feeder school. So at some point, we need other athletes to come in.
Okay, but wait a minute.
To fill out those rosters.
Wait a minute.
We got one feeder school.
All right, but wait a minute. How long have y'all had one feeder school?
We had just since the inception of the school. And we've always had a few transfers come in. So you need a school.
Recruiting or people coming?
No, but they're not recruiting as far as what I know.
Okay, so they just coming in.
Kids coming. But what I'm saying is, like, you can't, like, when it comes to that transfer rule, it's not a one-size-fits-all model, right? Because when you have schools like South Charleston, when you have schools like Capital, you have a multitude of feeder schools. So if you had a smaller community that's still playing at a really high level, there needs to be some flexibility. And again, I would say it needs to be flexibility for kids, because every situation ain't gonna fit every kid.
See, I can't work with you on that. You need to be AA or single A. I'm just saying.
Our numbers don't indicate that, so we can't be. What I'm saying, though, the other side of that too is that every situation don't fit every kid. So if I'm in a situation where maybe I'm just not getting along with a coach, or I'm not in a situation that's going to be best for my sort of talent, it may be right for me to move. Now, again,
no,
you don't need to just be moving any needs to be rules around it.
Bro, I can't make the case that South Charleston fit me. Like they didn't
can't
like
use
put
you
me.
Though. You
Why?
can't, because you're an elite athlete. You're different. You're not everybody else. You can't just use you.
Didn't nobody call me no elite athlete in high school?
You had elite athlete and mentality. Nobody was doing what you waking up in 5 a.m, working out, going crazy. They wasn't doing that. They don't do that now.
That's the issue. The gaming is not. The gaming is not the problem. It's you not getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
But what I'm saying is, like, you have to have. You got to have some flexibility.
What's flexibility?
Go ahead.
Look, you don't want to talk.
This is about to get good. This is going to be real good. If you can change this rule, how would you make it look? And I'm gonna ask both of you guys.
Okay.
If you can make this transfer rule, how would you make it look?
All right. So I would say you get the transfer going out of middle school to high school. So if you're not mandated to go to your feeder school, essentially. So I would say that's one. And then I would say you get one other opportunity. And if you and it has to be done by a certain time. So it's no like middle of the year, none of that stuff. You get one opportunity. If you transfer anywhere else beyond that, you got to sit out.
So two transfers in. One that's
what I mean.
One out of middle
fair.
and one in high school.
And I would almost want to say, like I said, I want to say maybe even the one out of I don't know. You know, now that I rethink that, maybe I would even say you don't get the transfer. I couldn't say that. You definitely get the transfer coming out of middle school, and then maybe you have to have a legitimate reason, or you have to go before the board to say, this is why I need to transfer once I'm in high school. Because you just don't want to create a situation where kids is just moving fluently, just moving from school to school to school. But I would also say this too, and I said this on the House floor. We have school choice in West Virginia, and you can't tell me that and it just seems hypocritical that I can go to all these schools and you got charter schools, homeschool, but now I can't play extracurricular activities in those schools when I have school choice. So I'm just saying it's not as streamlined and linear as what people think, but it can't be off the rails. There has to be some sort of guidelines around.
The guideline, Carl already, he over there shaking, boy. The guideline is if you transfer, you got to sit out. You still get the transfer.
Yeah.
You still get to go, but you got to sit out a year.
I think there's extenuating circumstances. So I mean,
Can you help me with that?
That just means like there's a legitimate reason why I need to transfer.
Okay, what possibly could that be?
I mean, well, what if your coach left? What if you in high
That
school
ain't
and
just
your coach get fired?
What if your boss? We'll teach you what happens when your boss leaves and you get a new boss. You learn how to adjust to
you
that.
don't got to stay at your job. You can quit your job.
You can quit the game.
Nah, man. You can't.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's legitimate.
No, it is not.
What if there's accusation of sexism or racism or bullying? There's a whole host of reasons.
That's a coach issue. Now we get the coach. Kids still stay. We get rid of the coach. We bring another coach in. Now that problem is
again.
solved.
What if the accusation doesn't mean there's going to be a conviction?
But
so if I'm saying, look, this coach is racist toward me, this coach is sexist toward me, whatever, and it's and for the investigation, the criminal part of it, that's unfound. But I still have these claims. I should be able to. It is extreme, and I'm saying extreme situations. I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm not saying just based on playing time.
I give you something like that.
Yeah.
I give you something like that. But there is something that's called community. Okay, you know this.
Yeah.
You know, as a politician, you know this. So to me, the community in which I grew up in, that I live in, that's where I'm supposed to go.
But
now, I might want to go. Are kids making the decision, or is it us?
I think what I'm saying is, like, even I think adults is making these bad decisions.
I'm glad you said they were bad.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Once you are in the community, you live in the community, you play in your community, you go to school in your community, you play in your community. That's how you understand loyalty to that community.
And I'm with you on that. But what I'm saying is that that sort of characterization is not what it is now.
No, because that top athlete in the community believes he can go, she can go wherever they want because they want the best, quote, the best opportunity in anybody's community.
I don't think kids look at it like that no more.
Kids don't go.
No,
when's the last time you know a kid went to a losing school?
Here's what I went to lose, but that's different.
No, you didn't transfer to it. You didn't say I want to transfer.
I did transfer to a losing school, but that's different. What I'm saying though is like at a young age, we're seeing now, and you're part of this as far as you know all about this. Kids can't even play in their local leagues no more. So kids are not looking at these things through the lens and the eyes in which we looked at them. If an adult is telling a local team that they can't play in local leagues or they can't play in this league, these are adults making these decisions.
Yep.
Right? We got individuals with the proliferation of like AAU basketball and different things of that nature. So the guys in which these kids are looking at it, they're not looking at it from a community standpoint. They're looking at it from like what best fits me or what's the situation that I want to put myself in. And a lot of that, I'm not saying some of that is selfish and some of that is been dictated by bad behavior of adults.
But how many times can a kid go to another school?
I mean, that's
I know some young when they've been in 3 schools. I'm like, man,
yeah.
Boy,
and to the adults that are listening, who are promoting opportunity to go somewhere else, do something else, play for another team, get one good team, and then we dominate all that. You're wrong. You're not helping the structure. You're not helping the system. You're not helping the kids.
I like when you said system. I like that.
Yes, because at the end of the day, the structure and the system that sports presents to a child is to work hard and find some piece not greatness, some piece of achievement, some growth, something that just lets you know that you just got a little bit better.
But kids will look at you and say, well, I can do that going to 5 different schools. I mean, even if you look at the heroes that kids look up to now at the college level, man, we know college athletes have been like 5 different schools. That whole Indiana championship football team.
Chill.
They have been in 3. The average, I think, was 2 to 3 schools. Them jokers were 30 years old.
But
and so kids is looking up to that.
well, you gonna bring that up?
They was. So now everything.
Everybody
He was waiting on that.
But what I'm saying though is like
I'm with you.
Adults have made bad structural decisions, systematic decisions at the youth level, the middle school level, and then if I'm a kid, I'm looking up to college athletes, and all these college athletes, they ain't been the ones who they ain't like the Major Harrises or Carleys. Well, we romanticize that they was at one school. So everything around the kid is telling you do what's best for you. It ain't just the kid.
But we know they're thinking that. But we all been through that system. Why are we not turning around and telling them, hey, that's not really the right system?
There you go. Do you think it's fair that South Charleston's girls don't have a girls basketball team?
Awful. It was terrible.
Like come from where it came from.
And and do you think any of the teams that the girls went to, that was recruited there, went there, or whatever? Do you think they care?
I don't know. I mean, I would probably not. I mean, they just handle their own business. Cause I know girls at South Charleston wanted to stay there. They wanted to play for South Charleston, but couldn't. So they had to go. So I'm saying situations like that too. We could add that. Like if you maybe your team don't get filled that year, then you should be able to go somewhere else and play.
I'm 100% with that. But we stop it on the front end.
So what would be your rule, Shane? Well, how would you fix it? What would be the rule that you would implement?
You play where you live.
So you're saying no transfer from middle school to high school?
Why?
I'm just asking. I'm just saying, what would be your rule?
I don't see a reason, and the reasons that come to my mind is, well, when I leave middle school, I'm going to go to the high school. Well, the high school, they're not very good. So I'm going to go somewhere else.
So what would be your rule?
So I think that you are, when you're in the structure, when you're in the system, you're in the South Charleston system, you go to elementary, middle school, high school.
So you're saying the only transfer is like emergency extenuating circumstances.
If you move.
Or if you move.
Just if you move.
No, I'm saying if there's like we just said, it's emergency circumstances.
Yeah, if there's an emergency situation, then I'm okay with that. And people are going to say, oh, that's old school, that's old, that's too strict. Why is that? What you went through it. It wasn't. You didn't feel like you were being suffocated and you were stuck. I didn't ever think I was stuck at South Charleston. You ever feel
but you didn't have the eyes that you could see everything. And that's another thing we got to factor in. With this phone, you can see the world.
Two things.
So I'm seeing what everybody's doing.
Two things.
Hold on. Let me see. What would be your rule?
You get one transfer, but you got to go to the high school.
You got to go to.
You got to check it out. See if you like.
So you got to go to your feeder.
Yes, you get one, then you're done. You can't move. Because here's the thing. South Charleston's loaded in the middle school level. They boys and girls.
Championship.
Yeah, but undefeated.
Shout out to South Charleston middle school basketball.
For real.
Yeah.
But I asked around, are they going to the high school? And most of them said no. That crushes me. Same thing with DuPont.
Mm-hmm.
DuPont boys basketball team last year, undefeated, heck of a team. They went different ways. Not saying it's right or wrong. It just crushed me as, like Carl said, the community of it, that you do all this work in middle school, you go undefeated, then these girls just go, or these young men just go different ways. I just think you got to try out the school, because if you don't try it out, anybody can say whatever. If I don't want you to go to South Charles, I'm gonna say such a terrible. Come over here with me. But if you go there and like it, actually the school, I'm not saying it's called because he's sitting there. Actually, South Charles is a pretty dope school.
It is. So people will argue. So people will argue on the other side of that and say, to your point, if you're saying, well, you can transfer if you move, people will argue, well, that's a socioeconomic issue, because if dad and mom got a little paper, then they could just, if we want to go to GW, if we want the West Side, we could just go rent an apartment up here.
And that happens.
So people would say that's socioeconomic. So now if I don't have the resources, then I'm stuck where I'm at.
But I think that I think there's also the opportunity to, if you wanted, to justify what that move was for. Did you get another job? Did you do like that?
But people ain't saying. People just buy. They got their house and they just rent it.
I know.
So there is no justification other than you just want your kid to go to their thing.
Yes, I totally understand that. But I'm saying that there still is opportunity to verify what the move was, why the move was, and again, I probably have never really said this, but man, I loved South Charleston, and we didn't win. We didn't win the championship, but I loved it. You know why? Because me and about 5, 6, 7, 8 other people walked to school every single day together. And I remember that. These kids don't have that. And they don't, and that value, that importance, to me, those are things that are important. Those guys that I played with at Marshall, at South Charleston, man, I'm talking to some of these dudes. Like, I'm still talking to these guys. You go to a place, you ain't really making a whole lot of friends. And, bro, Charleston didn't want me. Charleston would have never taken me. Stonewall would have never taken me.
They would have took you.
No, they would not have.
They would have taken you.
Bro, they wanted to. Bro, I didn't want none of them to play.
Yeah.
I didn't want none of them to play on my team. I want to play against you.
Yeah.
I want that. I want to test that.
But again, it goes back to what I'm saying. It's like if you're starting at the youth level and all of a sudden, we've seen it in youth basketball where they don't want certain teams playing all-star games. We definitely see it in youth football. It's been the worst ever.
Yes.
It's like the competition element is sucked dried up because it's starting with adults. So it's like until in my conjecture, until we fix structural problems here, and I don't know how it is nowhere else. I'm saying just here in the Valley. Until we fix those structural problems, these other problems are going to manifest later. Until we start to fix the youth sports and just the mentality around that, the middle school and all that stuff, these other problems are going to come to the surface.
You got to get the coaches out of the room first.
I think the parents too.
Yes, you need the coaches out of the room, and you need the parents out of the room, and you need a group of folks who can understand the reality of what we're trying to create with the sport, with football, with basketball, with baseball. What do we want for our young kids to get from the sport?
Yeah, and I think, and to shout out to Westside Soccer, and I'm not just saying because our kids play, but to me that's the model. They got the best system in my opinion.
I second that.
I've seen. Like it's 100% about the kids. It's not about adults. You don't have parents that are yelling, going crazy, or trying to go off at the games. It's 100% about development and about the kids. And I think we got to get even to some level, particularly at the youth level. I think we even got to get winning kind of out the way.
I think so too.
You know what I'm saying? It's just about development. You know what I mean?
I think in youth sports, the youngest and the next level should just play.
Yeah.
So many plays. You can get touchdowns, but you ain't got to, it don't matter about winning and losing. But what you're doing is you're trying to develop the linemen. You're trying to develop the receivers and the running backs and quarterbacks getting good handoffs and all those kind of things. Your defensive players. You're just trying to do that. Then when you go to, quote, the B team, you give them a little bit more. And then when you go to the A team, let's go. Because you're getting ready for middle school now.
Yeah.
Now, Carl, let me ask you a question. You played at the highest level, all pro. Will you let your grandson play football right now under the situation?
I would let him play. And but I'll say this. Fortunately, he doesn't want to play. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy with that.
So you're not like the pawpaw like boy you see me on that TV back in the 87 boy.
Not at all. I don't even care if he watches it. I don't care. Like he don't need. I have no interest in my grandson playing any sports. My son didn't play, and he played a little bit in Minnesota, but he didn't play long, and he only got one quit. He only got the one quit. That was it. Yeah, ain't no come back. No, ain't no come back. But my grandson is so good in academics. I'd be stupid. I'd slap myself to worry about what else he's gonna do.
Yeah.
You get A's all the time. Go do that.
That's my neighbor. You're my neighbor. So I got a question for you before I know we delegate with the NIL deals now in middle school and high school.
Yeah.
How do that work with the transferring thing with the bill? How do that just say, all right, I'm doing the extreme. Mm-hmm. This school got $10,000 for Peyton.
Yeah.
And I need that 10 bands. I need, you know what I'm saying? I'm struggling over here. And how do that work with the bill when now you can pay kids to go to middle school and high school?
Well, the thing is, the payments aren't coming from the school. So the schools aren't affiliated with the NIL deals.
Okay.
So the NIL deals is third-party deals. So if you're like a good athlete, you're a good soccer player or something to that effect, and some car company wants you to do a commercial, you would be able to do it. And in fact, you couldn't even, as the bill stands now, which kind of nullifies to me the whole purpose of it. As the bill stands now, you couldn't even have like paraphernalia of the school in which you go to. So if you go to GW, you can't have like the Patriot or nothing like that. So it can't be you can't use like your clips from your highlight film as part of that promotion. So it's really just a way.
Really name what is it?
It's really truly named members. Like it's not affiliated with the school in which you're going to, because and again I brought up the argument. Well, the point of me being able to, like, the reason why I would even get that sort of attention where somebody will want to pay me is based off of my performance on the.
I gotta be
court.
good. Yeah.
Now again, that's one part of it. The other part of it is that I may be like, and shout out to him, and this is his name, so this ain't me saying that. White Boy M, just for example.
Yeah, that's his name. Yeah.
He went to South Charleston High School. He played sports at one time. So somebody like that who is really social media star, but just so happened to play sports, he would be right. No matter how good he is on the football field, he was a person that probably would be right to get a bunch of NIL deals because he has a big social media following.
Gotcha.
So I say all that to say that I think the way in which it's set up is almost like you have to have like the social media following.
Part of
you got to have another part,
Gotcha.
and you just so happen to play sports.
Gotcha.
So that's the way the West Virginia system is set up. It's not something where you can get directly paid from the school itself. Now again, the third part of that is that you could end up in a situation if, let's say, you have freedom to transfer wherever. You could end up in a situation where maybe you got some guy who just loves his high school. Maybe he owned a car dealership, or maybe he got housing or something like that. You could say, yeah, I'm going to give you an NIL deal. You get this car when you come to this school. Yeah. Essentially.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it could could get tricky. You know what I mean?
What they used to call the car, what they call it, a green handshake when y'all leaving the tunnel.
I mean, isn't there gonna have to be a whole lot of like
policing
in that structure?
But if you think about it, for I would say 90% of them who's probably not doing anything shady, your ROI, your return on investment for giving some kid some money for your t-shirt company, it probably ain't going. It would have to be a hell of a return on investment for me to pay you 15, 20 grand to do some promotion for me. I need if I'm going to invest 20, I probably need 150 back off that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So for most companies and for most people, if you're not doing anything shady, you probably ain't going to get no NIL deal. At least not to that grandiose level. You might get a couple dollars here and there, but you're not going to get anything huge because there's no ROI.
All right. You got anything?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, I got the coach's name that we want to bring on the show. It's y'all show. I just want to ask him. All right, Jared Patton from Greenbrier East, Ronnie Olson, Shady Springs, Matt Smith, Princeton, and Brett Tolliver, Pikeview. If y'all listening, please call or Hollis or come up here because I got a question. How can you vote a team that won 3 games over a team that won 17? Just got that question.
I can probably. My wife's from Greenbrier East, so I might be able to
tell Miss Lee to make it happen, baby.
I try to get Big Jim on the show. Big Senator Jim, baby dog,
with the baby dog.
All right, I'm gonna close out by for everybody who's gonna listen to this show and going to hear all of the things that we've said today, trust me when I tell you that mine comes from a passion that loves sports. And I look at it in its best way. And I don't want to lose the game for the sake of money, for the sake of fame, or any of that. And I just think that when we start looking and trying to put bylaws in for young kids and all of that, don't forget the game. Don't forget the game. Because the game is bigger than your child. It's the path. It's the path that took me to where I am. So don't just be about your kid. Understand that there has to be some regulations. There have to be rules. There have to be things that they have to follow, because in professional sports, one of the key components is following direction. Doing what they tell you to do. That's, Hollis, I'm going to assume your job is about doing what is right.
Yeah, we got structure.
You got structure.
At a couple of different levels.
Yes. Woody Wood, structure.
I got in trouble last week because I ain't following the structure. I'm about to clean up my office. Jay, what's up, man?
I mean, so understand, please just understand that you can't erase the structure in sports for the benefit of the money and the benefit of your household or any of that. Let sports be sports and get in it. Just join it and be part of it. Don't try to change it. Don't make it anything. Just take your journey through the sport that your child is in and do the best you can.
There you go.
Hollis, I think you said something on the floor about that, like sports saved you.
Yeah,
think,
definitely, man. Sports, I mean, that's indicative. That's why, again, people may not like this point, but I'm not, when it comes to, like, I know when I went to high school, academics was like second. It was socialization, it was academics, and it was sports. And to me, it's not always just about academics, because some people, you may go to school just to play in the band. You may go to school just to be a majorette. That may be the activity, or you may go to school just to be on the chess team. That may be, you may go to school just to get a free lunch. That may be the thing that carries you on, and then you start to manipulate and pick up the other stuff later. I knew my sophomore year in college, I was like, man, I ain't going to the NFL. I don't really want to do this too much longer. Let me go.
At 5 a.m.
Yeah, let me go. I still played, but I'm like, let me go just focus on these academics. And I went from just being an average student to be on the dean's list every semester after that. Literally every semester after that, I was on the dean's list.
Salute.
Because I just made that decision.
I was the college coach, high school coach. I was their worst athlete. Why? Because, bro, I didn't want nothing but football.
Yeah.
School, I just tried to get through it because I wanted to play football. Mm-hmm. And it took me midway through college to understand, well, what if I don't make it? What am I going to do then? Sonny Randall, Bob Pruitt, they got me through. They got into my head and made me get through. Mom was going crazy. Mom was going crazy. And so I am the epitome of understanding exactly the opposite of what you're saying. I'm that dude. And I'm telling you, it ain't the right way.
But I'm saying I disagree with that. I say, like, it's your way. Not everybody's path is going to be the same, and it's important that we provide our kids a bunch of different paths. Because again, somebody may not be math, English, and science, but you go take them to Carver and they all star.
Yeah, they go crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Somebody may not be, nothing on any court or field, but in that science and that geometry class, they going nuts. So education is not this piggy hole like we try to fit it into. Education is on the football field. Because I say this. As far as my education in high school, I learned the most on the football field. that was the primary. That was
Football ain't easy to learn.
That was the most. I'm not talking about just the X's and O's of it. I mean just the lessons that are around it.
Right.
So that was the primary source of my education during that time. So we can't necessarily just say those things are important. We have those structures in place for a reason, and we have to give our kids every single outlet, opportunity possible for them to matriculate into their future.
I'll give you that. Yeah. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get out of here today. And thank you, Woody. We appreciate you being here.
Hopefully them coaches call you, Carl.
I don't know about that.
We'll be talking a long time. All right. We're out of here.
Let's Talk with Carl Lee is presented by attorney Frank Walker. Comment on episodes, ask the crew questions, or suggest topics on our Facebook page. Search for Let's Talk with Carl Lee, and remember to like the page to become part of the conversation. Subscribe by searching Let's Talk with Carl Lee on your favorite podcast service, and tune in Thursday evenings at 7 or Sunday nights at 8 for Let's Talk with Carl Lee.
If you fall, dust it off and get back up on your feet. Anything could be a win, yup, even defeat. They say sugar bad for you, wise victory sweet. Couldn't play with big kids, I had to sit in the street and watch from a distance, but over time I grew. If I put in the work, in no time I'm due. Everything that I worked and prayed, I'm okay. If you ask me, how did I do it, I'm gon' say you gotta work.